Just waiting for the stream to start. Just give me a minute. Hello everyone. It's good to be back. This is my second stream. If you missed the first one, I'm Ryan, and I'm out in Maryland, and I've been trading for 11 years. And if you missed the stream before, I talked a little bit about how I trade, and I'm mostly a counter trend trader. So I'll be talking a lot about entering on the pullbacks. So I'm excited to talk to you guys again and answer some questions later on as well. I hope to be I hope to take about 30 minutes of time in this stream. So let's see. So I took a couple of trades since last time I was on the stream 2 days ago. And I took one on the US dollar Japanese yen, and then another on the euro Japanese yen. And let's see if I can pull up the picture of that so you can see what it looked like. Give me 1 second. Okay. So this is what the trade looked like before I ended up taking a loss. Now this is my first loss that I've had on any of my accounts since February 4th of this year, so about 6 months. Now you can see that I had quite a few positions on. One, two, let me get my marker out. So I had 1 here, 2 here, 3 there, 4, and then 5. So I had 5 positions in, and this was over the course of only about 24 hours that this big, huge move happened. And it was pretty abrupt. And as if some of you keep up on fundamental analysis, you'll know that the news was showing some problems in Japan, and how they were considering a stimulus package to help with inflation and economic issues in Japan. So they are just considering it, and this is what's happened in that time frame. So they haven't even announced what they're doing, or if they're really doing anything yet. There's just been talk about it, and so the markets decided that they're going, or the pair decided it's going to jump. How many pips was that? Let me check. Let's delete those. So since that was announced, it was over 400 pips, about 430 was the entire move, with not a lot of pullback as well. So what do we do in this when this condition type of thing happens? There wasn't really any scheduled news in Japan. This was kind of all of a sudden when they announced this. So in this condition is when it's hardest for, I think, most traders to deal with, because in this move up, there was definitely a trend there, and I've told you before, I look for the cutbacks on that trend going upwards. So I entered my first trade on the yen right after this little bearish candle. Now let me zoom in a little bit. So I saw this happening. I saw that this broke all the previous resistance levels. Here, also here, and all those levels were broken. So I was thinking, all right, so this stimulus talk can only go on for so long, right? Before it's got to fall back down. Yeah, it was a pretty big news statement, but I don't think it was big enough to cause this massive move up, at least to go that long. So I entered on this cutback, or this I entered right here. Ooh. On the opening of this candle, after I saw this bearish candle here. That was a Harami candle. And that was how many pips from the bottom to that area? It was 267 pips. That's more than enough for me to take this position here. So I saw that, I entered, it went against me almost right off the bat. So what I was looking for, I saw this candle. I saw another Harami candle. And so I entered directly on the next candle after that, on that green. And that was only how many pips from the first order? That was only about 25 pips from the first trade that I took. So my second position. So first position was here. Second position was here. Basket trading is what I do if you weren't watching the first stream. And this did move down. I hit profit on that trade. I closed out for about 10 to 15 pips profit. The first trade was a minor loss, and the second trade was a larger win. Let's see if I can find them in my history. There's one of them, and here's the second one. So one trade was $40 profit in the basket, and the other trade was $25 loss in that basket as well. So I came out with a small profit. Now, that was fine. I got out of this trade just fine. But then is what I showed you before, what happened on the Euro Japanese yen. This is when I got really into trouble. So I entered my first trade here, as you can see. And in my second one, I entered right here because I saw some support and resistance in this area, which made me think that there could be some a movement down from there. And it did have a little bit of a pullback, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough for me to hit my profit on my second trade. So what I did was I entered on a Harami candle here after that bullish, small bullish candle there, if you can see, right there. So that candle, and then I entered right here, and I got so close, guys. It was about 10 pips away from my profit level, which was here at that time. So this was my I had 3 trades in at this time, 1, 2, 3, and my profit level was right here on this red line, and you can see it got within 10 pips away, and I just missed it. At this time I was actually at a movie, and I was checking it, and I was considering closing out the position just a tad early. I didn't do it. I try not to change things too much, especially with this momentum that was happening. I saw this momentum. I saw that the bearish candle here was closed pretty strong. Let me mark that again. This bearish candle here closed pretty strong, and so I was thinking that, oh, there's only to go 10 more pips, and my chances were pretty good. Didn't happen. All right, so I entered another position here. I saw this support level up here, resistance level up here, and then I saw that this was another resistance area. That's not showing on the chart, but I can show you on my actual charts without the picture. Let's see. So this was a resistance level I used, and then I had another trade. I was entered near I think it was near the whole number. Oh, I entered on another bearish candle here, right here, and that didn't work out as well. So I was in trouble, and these things happen. As we know, we all have losing trades, and we move on from them. I almost when I saw this happening, this candle here, this bearish candle happening, I thought that I might be able to get out of this trade, but the momentum was too strong, and the buyers just kept pushing it. So I ended that trade, and that was it. So let's moving on from there. I now have placed a trade on the pound Japanese yen. I told you from the first feed that I wasn't going to be trading on this particular on any pound trades actually at the time. But since this move up, it's making me feel like there is some more. The pound is not like completely bearish right now, and there is some movement happening up and down with it. Yes, the conditions are still pretty rough over there, but with this considerable move in this direction, it makes me think almost 1,000 pips, especially on the pound Japanese yen. It makes me think that I can start taking some positions on it in very carefully, because any of the pound pairs are very volatile right now. I don't really know why the pound rose up so much during the course of 24 hours, 48 hours. It's been kind of interesting to watch that because there hasn't really been any positive news in in the UK at this point, at least not yet. So I'm not really sure why it's going up, but we can't always make sense of what's happening to the markets. So right now the pound is kind of dying out on all ends. Even though the pound Australian dollar has made this dive back down, that is a pretty good indication that I could grab a few pips. So I set my take profit to 25 pips. I entered right there. It went down more than 50. So I was out of that trade. All right, so now I waited it out and was looking for other opportunities, and then I took another pound position after this engulfing candle. I entered on this candle looking for 30 pips, and as you can see, it went more than 30 pips. Easy take profit on that. Currently, that position, if I would have held it, which I wasn't planning on doing, would be at 73 pips profit. So the pound, the pound Japanese yen is starting to move, and as expected, I'm thinking that the U.S. dollar Japanese yen is going to start moving even more as well. I'm expecting that this will move. My guess is around the 103 area is what I would think. So that's a good 130 pips or so. If I'm calling big shots, that would be my call. But you know, it's still in the end just a guess, and I'm not really positive what's really going to happen. It could go higher. I don't know, but it is well overextended at this point. Like I said before I enter any positions, and it's currently going up. So no trades on this pair. And as you remember, I take counter trend positions, so I look for this trend, and I buy on these areas here. And so I buy on the little bounces, or little minor support or resistance areas during a trend, and counter it. So when that's going down, the AUD USD is going up. No trades on this pair, although I didn't take this position. It was a good trade. We had a Harami candle here after the bullish candle happened. So this move up. Let me mark that a little bit better. So this move up. Like I said, I like to enter in these areas and here. So the latest one was up at this peak yesterday. It looked like a better trade to me, so I took it, although both of them would have been profit. Let's see. My outlook on the Euro Japanese yen is I wanted this top to be broken. It hasn't. I don't think it will for a while. I think this pair is also on its way down. I don't know where it will find support yet. My guess would be in this area. So that's my call on the Euro Japanese yen. I think it will go down, but I just don't know. It's a guess. And all the yen pairs, pretty much, I feel like are going to start cutting back a little bit. The pound Australian dollar. I've talked about this briefly. It's made its first pretty big push up since the Brexit happened. About 500 pips on that. And then it started just recently moving back down. I'm not going to be taking any trades on this pair. It's still a little bit too volatile, although this candle was questionable for a potential reversal. This candle also was questionable for a reversal point as well. And with those questions, I guess it did end up going down from there. So, and that's pretty much it on what I wanted to talk about on the pairs that I'm trading with. Actually, I forgot to mention about the Euro US dollar. This is still in this odd little ranging market where it's just going up and down in here. I was considering taking a ranging trade on this pair, but decided that I didn't want to mess with it just because it's so undecided on what's happening with the Euro US dollar. Which is weird because other pairs like the US dollar Japanese yen are pretty much skyrocketing, and these the US dollar the Euro USD and the US dollar Japanese yen are correlated a lot of the time, and this hasn't really moved. So I think that's pretty much it for what I wanted to talk about on the pairs and my outlook on them. What trades I'll be taking. Like I said before, I took 2 positions on the pound Japanese yen since my loss happened on the Euro Japanese yen. This is what my account looks like now. So I had the loss, and it shows here. I did pull my trades at 7% on that Euro Japanese yen trade. I had a cutoff of 7%. And I made that pound Japanese yen trade yesterday, and it helped push my loss to just over 6% for this week. And then I had the other Japanese yen pound Japanese yen pair, trade today that also helped put me back. You can see the little bounce here, and then so I just keep riding along, doing what I'm doing. And that's it so far. My total loss for this month is 5.13%, which is not too bad considering my prior results in the previous months. And so I'm hoping that I'll be able to make up a little bit more of the loss, maybe a couple 1 to 2% by the time this month is over. And I think I can do that. So if anybody has any questions, I'd like to answer those for the next eight or so minutes. So let's see what we have now. Looks like FX Mexican took a similar GJ trade like I did. I'm guessing the movement in the JPY now is down to the U.S. market opening. One solid trace advice? I'm not really sure what you mean. Manaraman. So yeah, any questions on outlooks, on trades, on loss recovery? Since I just had my first loss in a while, and will you hold on to wrong entries in your basket like Viper? For how long? I will not hold like I did with this this trade. I did not hold on to these. I closed them out at 7% loss on my account. And since I was in about a percent profit this month already, it ended up being about 6% loss on my account this month. And then since I had another profitable trade this morning, it's equaling out to be about 13% down for the month. But yeah, I do not plan on holding trades for longer than 7%. I might even cut them off earlier than that. The pound USD seems shortable on the short term. Let me check. I agree. I think I forgot to even mention to talk about this pair. I saw this Harami candle after a new high. Then another weak Harami here with a bearish candle inside and a down. So I'm definitely seeing a change in direction on all pairs, and it's looking like it's going to start heading down pretty fast on most pairs right now. So let's see what else we have. One solid trade advice. One solid trade advice would definitely be right now for me, guys, is the US dollar Japanese yen. I think that this is going to go down quite a bit. The 103 area. That's my call. I don't know how important these calls are because it's just a guess. But that's definitely my feeling. Thanks for sharing the loss trade. Good info. Yeah. It's important to talk about losses, guys. It's, for me, they don't happen very often, and I saw it coming on the Euro Japanese yen, especially when it looked like this. When it looks like this, I know that my chances, it's possible I can get out of something like this, but it's also very likely that I'm going to close on a loss. I accepted the loss before it even happened, so I wouldn't be shocked, and so I mentally prepared myself for it. Luckily, it wasn't that big. I haven't lost any subscribers over or Signal followers over it yet, and so just pushing along, looking for good trades from here on out. Let's see, how much risk per trade do you take? I take, as you can see, my demo account right here, 24,000, is being copied to my live account that's on SimpleTrader. It's at 990. This is my live account, and the trades I take on this demo account are being copied to my interactive brokers account and my other two Oanda accounts. Pretty soon, this account that I just showed you here, this 990, is going to have, I'm going to be putting in another 8,500 into this account. And that should be coming in later this week or early next week. I guess it shows you that I'm pretty serious about trades on that account. Let's see. My risk, that's right, $24,000. My risk is 0.24 lots. So yeah, 0.24. So whatever my balance is, 24,000. So if it was 23,000, I would be 0.23. I usually increase it by the each $1,000 that I make on the account, and so it's a pretty simple, I guess, risk management on that side. Hans bulls. I'm Ryan. This is my second stream today, um, and so I'm fairly new, but hope to continue to keep doing some streams for you guys. Did you have a signal to copy before the current one? If so, how did it do? uh, let's see, Yvonne. I showed this briefly the other day. This is my current account, the same one that you see on SimpleTrader. This is just on my FX book. You see that I'm still in profit, which is fine. You see the loss that I had, and then the trade that I took today. But if you scroll down, you'll see all my previous accounts. I have not been on SimpleTrader before that, and this OAND account that I show you here is only 14 weeks old. I switched brokers 6 times. I had a lot of trouble with brokers manipulating or fudging numbers, especially FXCM. FXCM I don't recommend. I changed accounts with them twice because I caught them doing some weird stuff. So they moved my account. The weird stuff that I was having problems with stopped happening. But then I was getting some really extreme swap fees that was really hurt a lot. So I decided to switch, and then I moved over to OAND. So let's see I can tell you the process. I went from this account. This was my first account that I started being profitable with. This was 14 months ago. I think the account was opened in April 13, 2015. And I had a pretty big drawdown here on one basket trade, and then the rest of the account was pretty solid. Drawdown was 54% because of that one basket trade. I switched brokers. That was with Belfor FX, which I do not recommend because they are now officially a scam broker. I got lucky and withdrew my money before they turned into a scam. My second account was this here, 69% profit, only 12% drawdown. This was at Forex Broker Inc., and this account was opened on September 4th, 2015. And this account was pretty solid, not a lot of drawdown and decent profit. The third account in the last one I'll talk about was ATC. I think is where I went to after that. ATC is was a decent broker, and I think they were basically owned or third party to FXCM. I started with them. I had a loss of 14%. This was using a different system. Keep in mind, I lost 14%, and then I gradually made it back, and then was just minus 1.63%. Then I was forced to change brokers because ATC went bankrupt. So bad luck with brokers. So they went bankrupt. I was forced to FXCM. My accounts here, my first one was 0.8% profit, and then my second one was 1.7% profit, even with FXCM manipulating the price as I thought. And then now I'm finally at OAND, my OAND account that you saw here. And that's currently where I am. So that is a short or long synopsis of where things are now. Okay, let's see who else. He just talked about pick your JPY, not about the markets. Okay, short Euro JPY now. I would think that the same scenario with the U.S. dollar Japanese yen, with my call going down, I would think that the Euro Japanese yen would do the same. It would follow, but that's again just my call. I don't know for sure. BOC rate coming up. Yeah, that's the U.S. dollar CAD is going to be pretty intense right now because of the rate. But let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah, it's moving pretty heavily down. A pair that I don't trade. I don't trade on the CAD, so I don't follow news too much on it. Yeah, the pound JPY going nicely down nicely already. Yeah, I think this is also going to continue as well. Um, I think that I would pick the pound Japanese yen over the euro Japanese yen if I were to pick a trade and ride it out. I still feel like there's pressure still going on in because of the Brexit and the fallout uh, and the inconsistencies going on there. That I would definitely pick. My best picks are the U.S. dollar Japanese yen and the pound Japanese yen right now. Uh, I noticed that as well with FXCM. All right, yeah, FXCM is a no-go for me. Okay. Should I buy US dollar CAD after it drops right now? It's hard to do. 'Cause so after something like that happens, like the news comes out and it's pretty negative or pretty positive. Um, and right now it's looking uh, pretty positive for the CAD, I guess. And the US dollar is dropping against it. And it's difficult when the news happens because you can have whipsaws, you can jump in late, it's volatile, and you can get stopped out depending on where your stop is. If you jump in on news, I recommend trying to keep your stops wide, less risk, um, and potentially have basket trading in mind as well. Um, so I wouldn't jump in on this. It's too early for me. It's too much news volatility happening. It's only 5 minutes after the news came out, so I would stay out. Looks like somebody shorted the dollar CAD before the announcement, so they're doing pretty well. It very well could go down further. It could stop right here. I mean, just look at the support levels. There's one there, and there's one obviously here. I see a minor one there as well. So there's going to be some probably unsure. This is going to be an unsure area. If it breaks this level, it could potentially go down further. But we'll just have to wait and see. But too much of a gamble for me, guys. I'm not going to be taking that. The U.S. dollar CAD. So. Why did you think to short it? I think Avil Man is talking about somebody else. And any more questions regarding regards to the pairs, the 8 pairs that I trade, guys? Otherwise, I'm gonna leave you to trading the U.S. dollar CAD. I'm gonna see again what's going on with pairs. It looks like there's been some cutback, especially on the U.S. dollar Japanese yen, and on the euro Japanese yen as well. That could be because of the CAD news that just recently came out. Unchanged interest rates tend to strengthen the currency. Yep, that is true. Okay, so anyways, guys, I think that's going to be it for me today. And we'll see. I'll see you probably on. See, today's Wednesday, so I'll probably see you on Friday, and I'll give you an update on how things are going, what the trade outlook looks like on the pairs I trade, and how our little position is doing, or my call on the U.S. dollar Japanese yen going back down to the 103 level, and also the pound Japanese yen going down as well. So, let's see, any last questions before I go? Any thoughts on cable and the rate cuts? I don't have a lot of thoughts on that actually, but I think that is it for me for today, and I think I'll catch you guys next time. Looks like my feed might be having some issues right now. It's still going. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later. I'm just gonna close my